I have not canceled my Forspoken pre-order. Personally speaking, I'm very excited for this game. I've been looking forward to this one for a while, and whether it ends up being a success or not, or if it has to have patches, I'll be your canary in the coal mine. I'll give you the warnings and my thoughts about this game so you can make the best financial decision possible. But I want to get you guys caught up to speed on some things that have kind of developed. Doesn't mean that everything's bad. It doesn't mean this game's going to be a flop or a failure, but I want to give you guys what is being said. Now, I put over on the community tab this information, but I'm making this video specifically to increase its reach, especially if you saw my previous video before you buy Forspoken. That way you have all the information, because this is new developing information as we get ready for the launch on the 24th of January. Now, again, I'll be your canary. I'll let you guys know how I think about it, how I feel about it. I'll be running this game on a 3080. I do hope that I can achieve the frame, the FPS that I desire, but we'll play around with it and we'll let you guys know how this develops. A lot of the conversation is concerns about poorly optimization, especially when you look at the system requirements, especially you look at that ultra system settings, special requirements ends up kind of saying, like, if this game wasn't delayed from October to January, this card didn't exist yet. That's a key component. This card did not exist when that was all going down. However, I hope that it's well, and we'll have to wait and see. Tuesday is not that long from the time of this recording, so hopefully this is able to get into your feed. Speaking of which, before we dive into kind of the other conversations going on about this game, if you guys do feel like these videos are worth it, be sure to hit that like button. Hitting that like button isn't necessarily a bad thing. I guess the best way to kind of highlight it is to show you the data. When I ask for a like, and you feel like I earn it, it dramatically increases the amount of likes. I get the negative of, oh my gosh, a YouTuber asking for likes, so asking for subs, here we go again. But those call to actions work, and what it has as an impact on the video overall is long-term growth, long-term views. YouTube says this video must be worth it, so it recommends it out to more people, and thus I thank you if you guys do that. Again, it's your choice, but I wanted to show you the data behind it. It's really quite outstanding, and thank you guys so much for considering it for this channel. But let's dive into what Andy says. Now, Andy says it looks like VGC is not going to be publishing Forspoken review on Monday since Square Enix has decided not to supply them with a code. It's extremely rare occurrence for us, so read into it how you like. Now, the internet is the internet, and some people say that this is because they covered gameplay leaks and other things and were threatened with legal action, but Andy says that's not how essentially this all works. Other people say only shills get a copy of games. Now, personally speaking, I purchase my games. If there's ever a review, it's because I've spent money on the game itself. I want to be pot committed just along with you guys. If I'm going to recommend a game, it's got to come with, I think, a cost to me in that regards, namely because cost has an impact on reviews. I think one of the core aspects that's going to be interesting about this game is the price has gone up. It's going to be interesting to see how that impacts the score, because no matter what, let's say if you were using a 10-point scale with this game, the fact that it went to $70 means people are going to say, like, am I really getting 70 hours of value in this game? That's usually generally my conversion. It's not a 1-to-1 per every game. Some games I'll spend $20 on and I'll spend 1,000 hours in. But as a general kind of starting point or a framework for reviews, $70 is at 70 hours. And here's the kicker. Here's the reality. Whether you decide to play Forspoken now or wait with all the new games that are going to be coming out in the next 2 to 3 months, you're probably going to find this game on sale at some point, because that's the nature of how video games work. But last comment I want to highlight here is from SkillUp. Says, have you heard about 7 major outlets reviewers who did not get a review code for this? As always, no outlet is entitled to a code, but this limited code is a huge red flag. I also haven't heard of any outlet giving access to PC codes yet. Can't confirm this. Now, I've seen some comments and some conversation going that like only influencers are getting that. I don't believe that's the case. The influencers code should actually also be rolling out on Monday. That's not enough time to have a review. And why is this concerning? Well, if you're a fan of these kind of games, I don't think it really is. You're gonna probably find some enjoyment out of Forspoken. It's your money. You're an adult. Do with your time with what you will, right? I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. But generally speaking, on the whole, when review codes and embargoes tend to be blocked away, it's not because they want to protect certain things. It's because they want to protect themselves. Now, that's not going to say that's a guaranteed fact, but it is something that tends to happen more often than not. And so that's why essentially this is being classified as a red flag, trying to sit here and say, listen, you can still pick up the game on Tuesday if everybody's coming out saying, wow, it's incredible. But those people probably aren't also going to have a full level of the effect, the full detail. Now, assuming this game ends up being kind of a 40-hour RPG, and you kind of, 30 to 40 hours, that seems to be kind of the standard nowadays. If you have a PS5 that can run it, it does and will downscale your resolution if you go in performance mode, and that's okay. Like, I prefer frame rate over resolution, but they say that it could drop down to 720. This does tend to see that there might be some clear optimization issues, so waiting at least, for a couple days to see how it plays on people's hardware, whether it's PC or whether it's console, could end up saving you some money. I honestly, what's interesting about this is that when you start to look at these kind of games, this is a brand new IP. I mean, yes, it's an established studio. Yes, it's Square Enix. No, if this game doesn't land, like if it doesn't succeed, I don't think Square Enix is going to be reeling from it, because they already have Final Fantasy 16 in the holster, and that's a whole different team. I think ultimately the biggest concern that I would have here is this is Luminous Studios' kind of real first at bat after Final Fantasy 15. There's been some shakeup in some leadership. They've been working on this game. If it ends up being poorly optimized, then that's going to be one thing. Can that be fixed? Yes. If this game, from a story, narrative, gameplay, is firing on all cylinders and the only issue ends up being performance, you spending some time to wait honestly benefits you. But from a cost perspective, there's going to be a lot of options out there over the next couple of weeks. I know, personally speaking, very excited about Destiny Lightfall. That's going to be one of those games that consumes a lot of your time. It asks for a lot of your time. This is going to be one of those games that I think you kind of play it, you get that experience, and then you move on. There's not a multiplayer aspect to it, so it is that more story-driven narrative experience, and that's what I'm personally looking forward to. I'm excited to see what Luminous has done, what Square Enix is doing with this, and I will give you guys all of my thoughts. Because the nice thing is, I didn't get a copy. I didn't even apply for a copy. I wanted to make sure that I'm pot committed along with you guys, so that way I can give you this cost me $70. If it was $40, that's what I think I want reviews to more or less take into account. If it was like 40, is this a $40 game? Is this a $60 game? Is this a game like on Game Pass or that you see on PlayStation Now? Being that it's not on Xbox, I would assume that it will at some point show up there as a part of Game Pass, and then also on PlayStation, Plus. That's essentially kind of the model. Seems like everything's kind of coming PlayStation, and then eventually trickles out over on Xbox Game Pass. But time will tell, and I will let you guys know my thoughts. Hopefully you guys were able to get some good value from this video itself, and I thank you guys so much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to sharing my thoughts with you guys on Tuesday when the game launches, and then any updates and stuff that I can provide for you at those times. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I'll see you next time, but until then, take care.